Hello and welcome, friends. I hope everybody's had a great day so far. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're back, welcome back. I greatly appreciate all of the ongoing support. This is my channel, Dragonsjewel, and I'm Tegan, and I'm just going to get all that wonderful YouTubey stuff out of the way first. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. It's just down below. If you like the content you see, don't forget to hit like. And of course, any love, comment, suggestions, all of those wonderful things, there's that comment section down there as well. Today, as you can see, I've got a diamond painting here in front of me. That means we are going to be doing a good old whip and chat. So we are going to be catching up on the last little bit here. I'm going to chit chat away, catch everybody up on the happenings and what's been going on and all of that. And you can listen along, get stuff done around the house. You can pull out your own project that you're working on and listen along. Grab a snack. Make sure you've got coffee or some sort of beverage that you enjoy. I'm filming this on Friday morning. It's about 8:44 a.m. right now, so it's coffee for me. Let's face it, I pretty much drink coffee most of the day anyways, so it could be like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I would still be having a cup of coffee. Anyways, we're going to be working here on this little lovely section. So I'm going to get started here, pull out a color and get going. So we are going to be going all the way back to wonderful April 12th, and today is May 2nd now. My birthday was yesterday. I was originally going to film this on my birthday. We'll get into all of that, of course, a little bit later. But we're filming this, so I'm filming this Friday morning. I'm hoping to get this filmed and edited, of course, and out and up on the channel all at once. I usually just try to do it the day before, just so that I'm not rushing it. It is what it is at this point. It'll get there. It'll get there. It'll come. So yeah, let's go all the way back into April. So April was a pretty busy month. I know I had to kind of juggle things around and whatnot a little bit, especially when my hubby started his shutdown, just because I have family in town and stuff too. Easter, of course, was in all of that, so there's a little bit of juggling going on. That's for sure, but we made it through. Part of that time included 2 separate vet visits for our old gal, Miss Janaya. She's our Shepherd Husky mix. She is such a sweetheart. She's 13 now though, so she's our senior old lady. But yeah, so she had 2 vet visits because we had, I thought maybe she had an abscess because the side of her face kind of got swollen up a little bit there. And then of course when I took her into the vet, that had calmed down a little bit, but it was still a concern, and we had a couple of other concerns for her. One being this lump on her belly. She has some degenerative stuff going on in her back end, so her mobility back there isn't that great. She has a hard time kind of getting that back end going with her. So that includes her getting up, moving around, getting into her vehicle, stuff like that. So my mom actually helped me get her to the vet for that appointment. It took 2 of us with a ramp to get her into the vehicle. Her back end kind of slipped off on the one side, so then we kind of helped her pop back up, that sort of thing. Thankfully, she's too large to try to get up on a table, so they just look at her when she's standing on the floor, so didn't have to worry about that. But it was just the getting in and out of a vehicle and into the vet itself that was the challenge for her. We had 2 separate visits. The first one I went to, the second one my hubby took her to, and that one was more of a drop-off one. And that's mainly because the first one we kind of looked in, they tested her lump. It's a fatty lump. They said the only The only concern they would have is if it started getting larger or growing really quickly, then to bring it back and they would test it again just to make sure, but there was no signs of cancer, which is good. We weren't sure because of how big it had gotten. We thought maybe it was a possibility, it could be, especially at her age. Thankfully it's not, as I said. It was just a fatty lump. It's just a really large one, but it's something that happens to dogs as they get older. So there was that. Her teeth, unfortunately, are very diseased, which we knew. She had had previous dental work done, but she had an arrhythmic episode with her heart, so they had to get her, wake her up from the anesthesia early, so they weren't able to finish their work. She responded to the meds well, which is good, but it did cause them not to get everything removed that she needed removed at that time. We actually went a very long stint where she did well without needing to go back, but unfortunately she needs to go back. We were worried about that arrhythmia episode that she had while she was under, so we were recommended to do an echocardiogram for her. So that appointment was booked, and the second appointment was her going to get that procedure done. And that's just where they have a sonogram person do the procedure, and then they kind of go in and they look at the heart muscles and all of that, and just make sure that there's no murmurs, no issues with the valves, any other soft tissue areas, that kind of thing. And that would have given them a better view of why she had the episode that she had last time, stuff like that. So that's why they kind of recommended it. It also opens up a change in medicines that they could use or not use, things like that. If there were any issues, the cardiologist could recommend certain drugs, that sort of thing. So she had that procedure done, and everything looked great, which is good news, but that means that arrhythmic episode that she had last time she had her teeth done didn't really have any major issue or reason to have happened other than her reacting to the meds. So we did discuss that with the vet when those results came back, and they can change up the meds slightly. They can go with the same meds, monitor it a little differently. They said because she had that episode, there's a drip that they can keep going that'll help prevent that. So there's things they can do, which is good. And the positive about it all is that she had responded to it, so it's there's some hope that, you know, they can go in and get the dental work done that they need, and they're a little bit more prepared than they were last time because of the episode and getting the echo done and things like that. So yeah, that's the next appointment that she has coming up. That's in about a week now that she's got that coming up. We've got it booked, so that'll be her third vet visit in like the last month. So yeah, we've got some vet bills from all of that, and we're gonna have a pretty large one to get her teeth removed. At this point, it's likely going to be most, if not all of them. So she'll probably be going to a wet food diet, which I'm sure she'll be real heartbroken about, considering she loves her wet dog food. So yeah, it'll just be a matter of finding kind of the best wet dog food with the best kind of nutrients and stuff for her, and water content and stuff like that. But, and yeah, some aftercare and stuff like that. She's actually getting it done on our wedding anniversary of all days. But hey, you do what you gotta do for your dogs, and it's just a day. We'll be spending it with her. Recovering here at the house will probably be a low-key one, but that's okay with how much the hubby's working right now anyways. That's probably the best thing for the day of kind of thing. So yeah, vet visits, all of that going on with her. Ace, of course, is his normal gooberish self. He's actually passed out on his dog bed here. He was outside enjoying the sunshine before the kid went off to school, so he's quite content right now until at least his belly tells him otherwise. What else? I had family in town from both BC and southern Alberta in around Easter there. It started with my aunt and uncle over in BC. They came up, and my cousin who had been living here has actually moved down to Vancouver in with some second cousins. He's hoping to get into the little bit of the music scene there. So yeah, he moved, so it was his parents that kind of came and they drove him there, so to speak, so that he wouldn't have to fly. Helped take some of his stuff that he wanted to take with him. That kind of idea. So they were here for Easter, which is great. I got to visit with them. We did a larger family picnic out in Spruce Grove, which is kind of a little neighboring town close to me. That's because I've got cousins that live out in Stony Plain, which is not that far from there, so that's kind of a little bit of a middle ground for all of us to meet up. So we went to a park there, we did a little picnic. It was just sandwiches and some hanging out. We had some watermelon, and one of my cousin's wife, she made up some kind of like little Easter cake that she had brought in, and then there were little cookies and stuff like that for kind of sweet treats. So yeah, we had a nice little visit there. Unfortunately, my aunt and mom didn't make that one because they were sitting in the hospital after my aunt getting some x-rays done, waiting to get some news on that, because what had happened was prior to that, I'd gone over and I was visiting everybody at my mom's, and I think what we were doing, a dinner over there or something like that. Yes, I went over for dinner after we went for a walk at a marshland kind of bird sanctuary in our area with Riley. So we had gone over for dinner after all of that, just to kind of hang out with everybody and spend some time with everybody. And my aunt who was here was also over because she had joined all of us. And of course, this is when my aunt and uncle from BC were still up too. There's another way to kind of get a visit in with them. But what had happened is we had gone to the walk and everything was great there, and then we had gone back to my parents for the dinner, and my aunt was waiting for a call from Elections Canada. She was going to work it. They didn't call when we were out, but they called when we were at my mom's. So what she did was she was kind of thinking, get up away from the food. Wasn't paying attention or watching where she was going, and she actually slipped and fell. We just kind of heard this big thunk kind of happen, and then I tell you, all of us were out there making sure she was okay. What had happened is my little man and my parents, Weimenheimer, were kind of playing and wrestling on the floor in the dining room in front of the stairs, and so it sounded like, because I was in the kitchen, and then my mom and that were out in the living couple, my mom and somebody else was out in the living room. I was in the kitchen chatting with my aunt and my other aunt's spouse. But it sounded like she had made it over Axel, my parents' dog, somehow. Don't know how, considering she didn't even see them, didn't know they were there, but she had somehow made it over him, but then didn't make it over my son. So she kind of tripped and fell over them. and landed on the floor, but because she was on the phone, she had put her one hand out to kind of catch herself like you naturally would when you're falling. When she was there, before she had it checked out, we noticed it swelling up, so of course we put it on ice and all of that good stuff, and kind of, you know, got her bandaged up, so to speak, in kind of a splint to keep it immobilized so she wouldn't hurt it anymore, because we were thinking it was sprained more than anything. And kind of told, you know, keep off of it, that kind of thing. And then we did want to kind of take her in just to double check it, but she didn't want to that night. So she refused to, but she ended up going the next day, of course. It turns out she broke her wrist and there were fragments and it had swollen up again the next day, and it was turned black and blue and all that stuff. So yeah, she did find out that it was broken, and with the fragments and all that, she had to go into Emerge. They were talking the possibility of surgery, but they had to go in and kind of sedate her and try to get those fragments closer together because they weren't in kind of optimal positioning for healing. So they had to sedate her for that before they could cast it. So yeah, that's what she was getting done, and my mom was with her when we were all doing the big family picnic, which is too bad, but at least she was getting it looked after and taken care of. So now she's all casted up. And then on Easter, of course, we all signed her cast because, well, what do you do when somebody has a cast? You gotta go back to your childhood and sign it, right? Yeah, so we all signed it with the Sharpie. I did hand over hand for my son, so my son was able to kind of join in on that fun and kind of write his name, help him write his name. And then, yeah, and of course, for Easter dinner, that was over at my mom's. It was originally going to be at my aunt who had injured herself, but naturally with the events that occurred, the location got switched up to somebody who was able to manage the cooking and cleaning and all of that. And then for Easter dinner, my sister, niece, and her two boys drove up from southern Alberta to join, and then that allowed them to kind of visit a little bit with our aunt from BC as well. So that was lovely. I think there were, what ended up being 14 of us at the Easter dinner, because one of my second cousins and his wife came, and then of course family that was up, plus family that lives here that would normally be the ones kind of all joining in on that kind of event. Yeah, so it was a fairly large Easter dinner, but it was lovely. My poor aunt had to get her ham cut up. So we joked about if she felt like a child again. Just kind of, you know, had a good time anyways. All three boys did an Easter egg hunt out in the backyard of my parents. So it was a good Easter. Yeah, and then after Easter, my aunt and uncle and cousin, of course, who moved down to Vancouver, they all left. And my sister, niece, and her boys stayed up for about a week, just kind of visiting, because her boys were on a spring break. The southern Alberta one, spring break is a little later in the year than my little man's spring break, so unfortunately my little man was in school. But he loves when the boys are up. They all kind of run around and play and ramp up the energy by tenfold because 3 little boys terrorizing one location. Yep, there's 2 of which are brothers, and you know, adds a fun chaotic dynamic for sure. But yeah, the day that my son had early dismissal and they were up, we decided to, oh, I know, Ace. Decided to meet everybody at the dog park, one of the local dog parks. We went to the big one, which has a river down by it. So we did that. We walked the dogs for a bit and decided, okay, let's take them down by the river and see what they'd be like. As long as, you know, there was no ice on it, too bad that the current wasn't going too fast, that sort of thing. The current actually was not bad in the area that the dogs can kind of go down and access easily. There's still a little tiny bit of ice chunks on the very, very kind of edge where you walk along kind of the dirt, so to speak, but not on the actual water itself. So it wasn't too bad being down there. A little bit muddy, so we couldn't get too close to the riverside ourselves, but the dogs certainly could. My parents' dog wasn't overly interested in it. I mean, he didn't mind it or anything. He kind of went in it briefly, but no way, shape, or form was he completely obsessed with it or loving it, whereas Ace enjoyed every last little second of it. He was thrilled with the water being there. And it was kind of funny because I was standing there chatting with my sister and we're both just watching the dogs run around, do their thing, and all of a sudden Ace dips his head under the river water, does like this tuck and roll somersault kind of thing, completely drenching himself in the process. And me and my sister just like about fell over laughing because you could just tell that he thought this was the best thing in the world, and it must have felt oh so good. But yeah, it was absolutely hilarious to watch him do this kind of head dive somersault roll in the river. So yeah, Ace definitely enjoyed the water, playing in it and being in it, and he kept running in and playing with other dogs that came down and all of that. And then as we're walking along the path on the way back to the main field, we were kind of taking a side forest route, which unfortunately is very close to the river, which he remembered very much how fun that water was. So he kept disappearing into the kind of forested, wooded area, and then going down in by the riverbank, which actually it kind of gets kind of steep and harder to get down there and a little bit more drop-off-ish, so it's definitely not the safest. So we had to call him up multiple times, and then the further along we got to that path, we're like, okay, we gotta cut up to the field right away because he's just like obsessed with it. He wouldn't leave the idea and thought alone that it existed, so we had to get him away from that just for his safety at that point. But yeah, no, he likes water. No fear, no qualms about getting in it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, the dogs got to do that. We got in a visit while we did that with them, so it was kind of a bonus. A visit and exercising of the doggos, who they love to hang out and play together, so that kind of thing usually makes their day. And then it allowed my little man to kind of see my niece's boys a little bit more and hang out with them too. And spend time with everybody because he's a social little man. He likes hanging out with his family, and he's definitely got his favorites that he likes to hang out with, but he likes to hang out with everyone. What else happened? Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it for April. It's kind of, we are mainly busy with Easter and the family. And then it kind of settled down for a tiny bit. And we kind of got back to our normal routine. The hubby, of course, missed. Yeah, the hubby missed like all of that because of his work schedule. So he didn't get to see anybody. Yeah, I don't think he saw anybody at all. I don't think he got to see either my aunt or my uncle or my sister and them. Yeah, no, he didn't. He was working that whole time. So yeah, that was just me doing all that visiting. I know I was feeling pretty burnt out after all of that too, just because the hubby's work schedule and being with the little man and then doing all that thing. I'm not used to doing that much all at once and being that busy. Well, I am and I'm not. But yeah, it was busy. All of that was really good. It was good. Then what? And then yesterday was my actual birthday. So we'll get into my birthday stuff next. We celebrated it early just because of the hubby's schedule and stuff like that. So we did, he's off on Tuesdays. Tuesday's his days off right now. So we did a early dinner at Home Fire, which is one of the restaurants that is close to us and happens to be kind of one of our favorites. I've talked about it before. They're the ones that serve some elk and bison, and they have a chicken dish and stuff like that. So they do have other kind of dishes, but they definitely have some more unusual dishes as well. They have their bannock with maple butter, which is always delicious. So yeah, we did my early birthday there with my aunt who lives here, and then my parents and hubby and little man, because that's who's kind of around now, family-wise, for the main peeps. So we did that, which that was lovely. I think I did the bison stew, had some bannock, was able to take home some of that bannock and maple butter as extras because we ordered the basket so that we could have a second piece, which left like I think 3 pieces to bring home. So being the birthday girl, I was the one who had the privilege of taking all that wonderful bannock and maple butter home with me. So that became my breakfast for I think a day or two after I had a piece or two kind of thing. So that was quite lovely. My aunt had given me those 2 diamond paintings that I featured from Diamond Art Club that she had gotten down in the States when she was visiting her son and his family in Vancouver. It's the same family my other aunts and my cousin who is living here is going to live with. He's basically going to rent out a small space from them. I think it's over the garage, something like that, in the basement. I'm not sure the details, but he's renting a space like that from them anyways, until he kind of gets settled. But yeah, so she was visiting them. She'd gotten those 2 diamond paintings, so I had gotten those a little bit early, but those were my my birthday gifts from her. And then when we were at the beading keychain Indigenous workshop class that we had gone to, Women's Day, they had some Indigenous vendors in the exhibit as well who were selling all sorts of goodies, and there was I think it was coconut mango body butter, whipped body butter, that one of them had made with essential oils and natural herbs and stuff like that. her and her mom, I think she said it was, are the ones that make all of it themselves. And of course, she's the one that goes to any sort of vendor type markets and sells it on kind of their behalf. So it's kind of like a duo team, but she does all of the selling in person side of things because that's just how they've worked it. It's easier for them. She didn't really get into full details, but it sounds like her mom's age probably has mobility or something like that, kind of has some factor into it. But they do a lovely job. Like, there were a couple of different, they had salves and they had a smudge spray and a couple of other things like that, and we had kind of smelled a few of the products, and everything that we had smelled, they did an amazing job of blending the oils and the herbs in a way that you could still smell them, but any of them that you could easily see being overpowering, like a spearmint or a peppermint, really weren't overpowering at all, blended in with some of even more subtle scents. So they did a really amazing job on that. We had sampled some of the body butter, of course, on our hands because she let us sample it, and it was absolutely lovely. It wasn't greasy, it wasn't heavy. So I was actually going to buy it for myself, but then my mom asked if she wanted me to get it as a part of a birthday gift, so sure, why not? I'm okay with that. Like, not like I need it right this second kind of thing. We asked if it would keep for that time period, and of course they said, oh yeah, it'll keep, and no issues, no worries there. So yeah, that was something I knew I was getting. It had been tucked away for like the last month though, so I got that no, and it's just as lovely as when I tried it the first time. I've used it since, of course, but I got that. And then somebody that my mom knows does these stunning rocks. I should go grab it. Hold on, I'm gonna go grab it and show you, because you'll see what I mean. Okay, so I'm back. These are rocks that this lady that my parents knows makes, and they are just stunning. So here it is. She does all of this kind of mosaic work on it, gets it kind of protective or laminated by the looks of it too, but they're all kind of this paw print design, and my mom had showed a picture of them, I don't even know, like months ago, saying they knew this lady and that she made these, and if anybody was interested, kind of thing. And yeah, so I had commented saying that they were absolutely gorgeous and lovely, and not even thinking much about it after commenting on it, because it was just a natural comment that I would have done anyways, even if she hadn't known the person. But yeah, she took that as a chance to choose one out, and so that was added to the body butter. So I'll be putting that probably out in my front garden here once I get a chance to go out there and tackle some of the dead plant stalks and weeds that have kind of popped up, and get it kind of cleaned up and ready for this gardening season. So yeah, there's that. And I also have a fairy garden that I made, like this little fairy garden house thing that I made a long time ago. I'll have to get that set up out there as well. That'll go next to my little bobbly head bear and my dragon that I have in my front garden bed as well. So yeah, I'll tuck those in there, get that going. And then, yeah, my hubby got me a second monitor. I think it was, what was that, Christmas? Might have been Christmas? Oh gosh, I don't even know. But he got me a very lovely monitor because my monitors were well overdue for being replaced. I had old ones, slightly smaller ones, not as nice kind of overall image quality on them anymore, that kind of thing. So he replaced the one, and I work off, I technically have 3 monitors, but I work off 2. The third one I just kind of use as a mostly TV, where I'll pull over like Netflix or Prime or Disney Plus or something like that over from one screen on and watch stuff while I diamond paint or craft. I've also got a little DVD player hooked up so I can play DVDs or Blu-rays, kind of movies and stuff as well on it. But yeah, the third one's mostly kind of like a little TV, so to speak. But I definitely work off 2 monitors, so for my birthday he went and got the same monitor that he got me for Christmas, so that I've got now 2 matching monitors again. Updated, a little bit bigger than what I was working with, so absolutely wonderful and perfect for my gaming. He also spoiled me with a brand new game. What is it? RuneScapes. It's a dragon one where you're trying to go and defeat the Dragon Queen who's kind of taking over. It's got a very Scottish, like the narrator has a very kind of Scottish accent to it, so I'm guessing it's probably over, the storyline or whatever is probably over in Scotland somewhere. But it's a kind of a crafting survival style game, so he saw that, I'm guessing, on my little wish list on Steam and had gotten it for me as a giftie. So I'll definitely have to give that a go one of these days here when I've got a little extra time to play a new game. And then, yeah, he had some, because he was working on my actual birthday yesterday. He was actually on a 12-hour shift because he's a sub foreman. I had spent my birthday kind of solo, alone, with the exception of, obviously, the kid when he was home from school and the dogs, but I mean, nothing, there were no activities planned, nothing special. It was just kind of another regular day, so to speak, and I was thinking of doing something for myself, but I couldn't figure out what or whatever, and I was just kind of in an overall blah mood. I wasn't in a great headspace yesterday at all. I kind of struggled a bit yesterday, so I didn't really lean into kind of solo celebrating in any way. So that kind of fell by the wayside, but he was sweet enough to have some flowers sent to our house as kind of a little additional birthday surprise. So those arrived yesterday, and they're out on the dining room table. Ace was definitely fascinated with them. He thought they were quite lovely, and he wanted to check them out. Riley enjoys the fact that they're in the house. He leaned in and took a little smell of them, and then said Dad, so he knew who they had come from, even. I'm not going to talk very long on it, but I am going to talk a little bit on it because I did mention for my birthday that I was kind of not in a great headspace, so I was kind of, my depression had kind of spiraled its ugly head the last few weeks, I would say, probably. I mean, I was able to kind of push it aside a bit when family was here, and I was doing stuff with them, with the hubby working long hours, and me at home, I'm feeling very, very housebound in a lot of ways, and just kind of being the caregiver for a son. At that point, pretty much single parenting it is what I call it when he works these kind of hours. I mean, he helps out when he gets home, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I'm the one who's mostly spending the time with him and doing most of the stuff for him still, just because of the hubby's hours. That's why I call it single parenting. That one we don't really get to see him for very long each night, even. Just pretty much dinner. He showers. We have a tiny bit of family time to hang out, watch stuff. But yeah, it's not super long, but I've been feeling kind of housebound. I don't really have, like, I have local friends, but they very rarely reach out and do things and that kind of thing, so I don't get out very often and socialize with them. I'm going to attribute it to very busy schedules, and they probably think I have a very busy schedule, and so whatever, it doesn't happen very often. I love it when it does, but it doesn't happen very often. So yeah, just kind of all of that has kind of left me with my depression rearing its ugly head a bit, and I've been struggling with it, finding the energy to kind of do things, want to do things. And when I do want to do things, what do I want to do? I know things that need to be done, like kind of tidying and cleaning the house, and we'll probably do for a spring clean, that kind of thing. So like I know that kind of stuff I should do, but then I look at it and I just get overwhelmed, and I know it's very kind of cluttered right now, so I know that would help if I get it done, but I'm just very overwhelmed by it all at the same time. So I've been in that lovely vicious cycle for the past little bit. That's really all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to bring it down, but I don't want to ignore it either. And yeah, I just figured I'd share it because I'm probably not the only one who deals with it, especially in this crafting community. It seems like a lot of us have mental health stuff that happens, and kind of thing. I just want to let you guys know that, you know, if I fall short on a video here and there, it might be because I just can't bring myself to get the energy to kind of get it together, or I've chosen to just kind of take a little bit of a break that day, do something else for myself to kind of keep going. Some self-care, pretty much. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there, let you know that it is something that I do struggle with. It's something I'm currently struggling with a little bit. I'm glad that the weather now is starting to get warmer and it's getting sunnier and stuff, so I am trying to kind of get myself out of the house, at least during the daytime when my kid's at school, to kind of get Ace going, or just kind of getting some of that sunshine and fresh air, because that's always, even though it's a small thing, it's a helpful thing to do when you're in these kind of slumps. But yeah, so I'll just keep on keeping on, and yeah, I just wanted to share that that's kind of something that's been going on a little bit. Even all this busyness, thankfully the busyness has kind of kept my head away from it, which in some ways is good and in some ways it's bad, because you also then kind of tend to ignore it a bit, which I don't necessarily want to do either, because then it can get worse. But as a temporary measure, briefly, it was good. But yeah, now I need to kind of get into the it'll be a battle, but it'll be getting myself kind of in that thought process of that self-care and taking my time to kind of lift myself back up. So that's where I'm at. I think that's kind of basically about it for kind of things that have been going on the past few little weeks here. Which brings us now to the wonderful channel stuff. Just before I started this video, I popped over and I checked kind of what the subscriber count was. That's at 463, I think, which leaves us with like 37 people to go till we hit that 500 milestone. That seems like a milestone that I've been really just trying to grinding and working towards forever. I've seen it bounce way down low away from it, and now I've seen it kind of start to slowly come back up and pop over where I was struggling. So I'm positive that now hopefully we'll continue to see that grow and we'll hit that goal hopefully soon, because that's when I'm planning my next little kind of giveaway. So yeah, if there's people that you know who enjoy diamond painting and crafting in general, because I do try to get some of my other crafts on here as I can. I don't always necessarily have a ton of time with my diamond painting to get everything in. But yeah, if you know people that are into that, definitely share out the channel, share out the videos, pass it along where you can, kind of thing, and hopefully we'll start to see that number climb and we'll hit that goal, and then I can do my lovely little giveaway that I've been itching to do forever. And I also just want to say there is my little Facebook group for the channel community, and that is very small right now. There's I can count pretty much everybody on my 2 hands that's in the group currently. So definitely would love to see that grow. Yeah, we've been sharing, the small little group of us have been sharing kind of what we've been working on diamond painting wise. I haven't seen any crafts shown yet, but those are always welcome. I'm hoping it'll just kind of be a fun little spot for everybody to hang out, share their crafty projects, hopefully provide some inspiration for people who are maybe looking for some crafty inspiration, or maybe it'll end up introducing a new diamond painting company for you as well that somebody else is working or had gotten their canvas from. All sorts of wonderful possibilities in a group like that. Eventually, when it grows, I'm hoping to kind of start doing little kind of crafty events on there. Maybe some fun little kind of games here and there. That sort of thing. And of course, all the continuing to share all the wonderful projects that everybody works on. So that's kind of what the vision is going to be like for that page. But of course, join if you haven't. Love to have you over there. Yeah, all that information I include down in the description box. So definitely check that out. Join if you haven't. Love to have you over there. Start sharing your projects. All that wonderful stuff. Also, I just want to say a quick thank you for anybody who had gone ahead and used either my DAC affiliate link and the first time purchasing code. I think there was like 3 orders that came in, so I've been paid out for all 3, but it came in two payouts. There were small commissions that came from that, so I've just been keeping that in my PayPal account right now. I'm going to hold on to it till it kind of accumulates a bit more, and then I'll do some sort of fun little shop for something new to share with everybody and kind of put towards the channel in some way, or maybe I'll use it towards a little giveaway or a prize of some sort. But either way, I'm just going to let that accumulate right now because it's not a ton yet, but it's the start, and I definitely appreciate it. It was nice to see that it being used, because for a while there it just kind of sat, and I was beginning to question if that was a good choice for this channel and for my subscribers. But yeah, then all of a sudden I had like 3 little kind of things, small little commission notes saying that people had used the link or the code and made themselves a lovely little purchase, and that to expect such and such payout, that kind of thing. So that was very, very nice. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I was glad to see it finally being used, because like I said, I was beginning to question it a bit, because I definitely don't want to hang on to something that's not going to benefit the channel or my subscribers either, especially when there's so many wonderful and great things out there that I can kind of help as a content creator bring for you. And that it would be naturally useful, because I don't want to make it difficult or anything like that either. But yeah, that was nice. That was definitely appreciated. Like I said, just gonna let it build up. It'll build. And I think that's kind of about it for channel stuff. There's nothing too crazy going on with this busy schedule and everything. Just keep on keeping on, doing my thing, bringing out videos, juggling videos. May have to continue juggling videos, especially these Friday ones that are like my ghostly echoes and my whip and chats, because those are the ones that take a little bit more time with not only the filming but the editing side of things, and with the hubby's work schedule and kiddos' school schedule. Sometimes I've got to kind of juggle that, because as a stay-at-home mom, that's kind of just what comes first, and that I have take up the most of my time, obviously, so then I just kind of got to juggle and work around that. But don't fret. As you know, I try to either substitute other videos or let everybody kind of know what's up on the community tab or on YouTube. So definitely keep your eye on that. Check that out every now and then. That's where all that information kind of pops up, where I keep everybody kind of updated on that kind of stuff. And of course, I bring it back as soon as I can. As you know, I don't try to leave it for too long. I try to just postpone it and push it back to the next week. Not very often have I had to push it back even further. I think that has happened though, maybe a few times. But yeah. And then, of course, if I take any sort of time away from the channel, I also kind of update that on the community tab and kind of give an idea of how long that's looking like. So yeah, I think that is about it for kind of channel stuff. Like I said, nothing too crazy or exciting. And I'm almost done this section. I just want to think of like a couple more things that you can see this section finished up. Just working on these last little trails of ABs. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else though for channel. I can't even jump back to craziness of what's going on. Oh, sorry. I'll just leave you in silence while I finish this last little bit. So at least you can see it. There we go. All done that section. Ta-da! All right, so I'm going to leave you guys here. That's been the last little while, and of course we'll see you in the next video with something new. Bye.